Your brother is married to a Western woman, and she's a feminist, of course. He says to his wife, "What do you want for our 10-year anniversary, my beloved feminist wife?" She says, "I want a 10-karat gold ring because it's our 10-year anniversary. It has to be a 10-karat gold ring because life has to be perfect. I'd like dinner at a buffet because I haven't met my quota for stacking on the pounds this year. And you better wash the car before you pick me up, mister." But you did not marry a feminist Western lady. You married a poverty babe. Now let's have the same conversation. You say to your wife, "What do you want for our 10-year anniversary, my beloved wife?" And she will say she wants a pair of Ukai Ukai shorts, which are $2. And then after that, she wants to go to Jollibee for $5. And you say, "Well, I'm sorry, my baby-rooney, I don't have a car. Is it okay if we get a trike?" And she says, "Wow, a trike? Yippee!" Poverty babes are an option for a wife. Now, look, this is a bit of a raw dog productione, okay? So if you're a little on the sensitive side, if you're listening to Christian rock in your spare time, you may want to skip this vid. Although this vid is something that's got to be made because it is a vid based on the real world here, folks. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's get the show on the road here. There's an old saying that someone said a couple years ago. He said, "Raise them up and pay the price." Meaning to say that girls are basically a tricky breed. They clamor for a man that is, high and mighty, undoubtedly higher than she is. A man that has some, great ability to make some bucks. Raise them up and pay the price. Although, I gotta say, folks, I fully disagree with this theory personally. I think that if a poor woman who gave you back massages and cooked you dinner in the past is today an independent woman because her man lifted her up, I think she will continue to take good care of her guy. But I also have an IQ of 43, and that's only if I'm soaking wet, folks. So let's examine this from the other side. All over the world exists poor babes, okay? Poverty babes, as some people prefer to call them. Although I don't like that term myself. I think it's insulting. Babes who lack the pesos to purchase anything, even a pair of socks. These girls are quite interesting, quite the phenomenon. First of all, they were born and raised in poverty, and they don't know, really, anything else. They don't know any different. They usually have one single desire, and that is to raise the standard of living for their family. You'll always hear them say, "I want to help my family," because the whole independent family members thing, okay, this is really something that only exists in the Western world. The rest of the world, families actually stick together. So you have the girl who's a young, tight, beautiful little thing, okay? Perfect pair of you-know-what, and just an absolute beaut. Now, because she was born in this environment of poverty, she doesn't know her true value, folks, if you know what I'm saying. Her true worth. Unlike girls in like Angeles City, who are like, they're like a 4, but price themselves as a 10. But the poverty girl does realize only 2 things. Her family needs help, okay, that's number 1. And number 2, she does realize that marrying a Western man is the answer to her prayers, folks, or her goals, however you want to word it. Okay, so you got this poverty babe, and the poverty babe has you. You're now a couple, okay? You being the Western man, the answer to her prayers, really the only option she has to get out of her situation. I mean, there exist poverty girls who are smart and intelligent. They got a good head on their shoulders. They study hard and ignore the advances from these local barangay boys, these local classmates who are just gonna, bang them and take off, basically. But the girl stays ahead of her class in hopes of getting a scholarship. She's got a really good head on her shoulders. But the reality is that even if she does study hard and she gets that scholarship, a lot of these poverty families still can't afford an education. Now, how do the girls deal with this? There is a massive unknown market for university girls who sleep with men in order to fund their studies. They'll even sleep with their professors just because they know he's available from word of mouth. And he's right there Whereas the other guys who are available, they're scattered around. The girl doesn't know how to find them. They're more out of reach. The best guys for these girls are harder to attain. So what these girls do to get over this financial hump they have with their university expenses is to go on dating sites and meet foreign men. And these foreign men hopefully will fund their studies for them. And let's talk bones. Now, the girls, they're either going to request money from the guy, they're going to date the guy hoping that the guy's going to help them out, or, the guy's just going to be honest and say, well, how about we just bang for some bones? But talking about price here, we're talking like only 1,000 or 2,000 pesos for the deed. I mean, as I said, they don't know their true value. These are poverty babes trying to get themselves and their families out of poverty. They have a lot of pressure. These girls have a lot of pressure on them. Not finishing university is just not an option. Now, obviously, you could listen to this and get disgusted by these kinds of happenings, right? But you have to understand one thing. You think it's disgusting because you were not born in this environment where this is commonplace. I mean, the world's a rough place, people. But, this is, the girls really have no other option. Also, you have to realize, okay, you person who's out there is thinking, this is disgusting. How could anyone take advantage of these girls? Do you really care? Or are you pretending to care? I mean, look, if you really care, you would be willing to sponsor this girl so she doesn't have to sleep with these guys, okay? But you're not willing to do that, are you? So I just saying that to keep it real here, folks. She's doing what she has to do because the government's not helping her, the Pope's not helping her, her church isn't helping her. She's in this world by herself. No one is helping her. Now, this is one reason why a lot of guys want to marry a younger kind of, poverty girl, like 20 years old or so. Let me explain here. Now, really, because we have a man has this natural desire to want to lift her up, but we got to be smart here, folks. Now, let's talk about this, okay? Let's explore this idea here for a second. Really, what do you know about your wife's past? Okay, let's say she's 28, 32, 45, whatever. Now, is it possible that if you knew her real past, like let's say you married at 40, okay? Now she started banging at 17, now she's 40. So you got how many years there, folks, of her banging away? Now, is it possible that if you knew her real past, that you would still marry her? Now, this is on the defense of guys who want to marry some younger poverty baberinos here. Now, I mean, look, you don't really know the girl. You can't. You'll never know her past. Even if she tells you that, you don't know if it's true. Now, do you think that these girls are going to tell you the truth? Oh, imagine these university girls. How did they get through university? So let's say we are well-intentioned men here, or women, I mean, maybe, it happens that a woman is looking for a poverty boy. But as we know, the tricky breed only dates up in order to benefit herself. But let's not get into that right now. So you have met a poverty girl on a dating site, okay? Now, how do you know she's a poverty girl before talking to her? Well, you just look at the background of her photos, okay? I mean, is it a hollow block house with a shower curtain for the front door? That's a poverty babe, okay? But they are really the best girls. Now, let's talk about this. I mean, you're interested in the traditional values that she will bring to a relationship, okay? She likes to cook, clean, take care of you, because that's what she was taught to do from her mother. I mean, her mother's advice to her while she was growing up was, don't get a drunk guy and get a man with a job. So here is Joe Blow, here you are chatting away with this young, woman. You're chatting away on a dating site, and now she's, she's old enough, she can make her own decisions, and you are there. You're the answer to her dreams, folks, okay? She can actually live a comfortable life if she marries you. My friend told me a little story. Now my friend is 50 and he was chatting with a 19-year-old girl. And they were doing a video chat and, her mom was telling her to fix her hair during the video chat. So, the guy will think she's more pretty. I mean, that's their mentality is it's like, let's try and fix up my daughter so this old guy who's 50 will like my daughter. Compare that to someone who's already established, a well-established family. They're not going to do that crap. I mean, let's look at the girls' options here, okay? Let's look at the family's options for their daughter. It's you, a guy with a pension, okay? You're basically a peso millionaire. Or Or you can get that handsome truck driver who lives at the end of the road and makes $8 a day and drinks most of that away. Besides, a lot of these girls, they don't even care about looks on a guy, okay? Like, the girl's duty is to look good and take care of the house, okay? The guy's duty is to protect and obviously financial stability. Look, some girls care about looks on a guy, but most don't, okay? Especially the poverty babes. One main benefit to the poverty girl is that she does not like Starbucks, okay? That the Starbucks lifestyle. Whereas the city girl working at the call center frequents Starbucks, and she wants a handbag, and she likes window shopping, and she's gone down that path of independence, you know? Look, it's only window shopping if you're not around, if you get my drift. But basically, the city girl is going down that path that the Western women have already gone down. And once she's going down that path, there's no bringing her back, folks. But the poverty girl has not gone down that path, okay? What does she want? What does the poverty girl want? Not Starbucks, not a Gucci handbag, not even an imitation Gucci handbag. She wants rice, chicken. Saturday McDonald's is a big reason to jump for joy. A small house, small land, like Anna, her land there, $1,000. She is contented with a quiet life in the province. She would feel out of place in the city. Would she be willing to join you in the city? Yes. Would she be willing to join you in your country? Yeah, for sure. She would see it as a way to, basically improve the standard of living for her family. Would she change if she went to the city or went to your country? Your girl, would she change? Absolutely she would, because you are exposing her to a brand new world. That's the risk you take when you make that move. How that change will affect your girl is what you cannot know until she has actually changed. The thing with women, or the tricky breed, as some like to call them, which I disagree with, is that they can go batshit crazy. Look at girls in the West. It's this constant and never-ending push for more and more independence, and they will hang on to a man's coattails to attain it. It's like they just can't get enough once they start going down that path. It's like spending money is their new therapy, their newfound happiness. It's like they're looking for happiness on the outside with buying things, and they will just never find it. They'll never attain that happiness that the poverty girl already has. Just as, these girls who have gone down the wrong path here, like there was a day in the path where they thought having a house and family would make them happy. And then they have it, and suddenly it's not enough. That is the path the westernized Filipina will go down, and that's great if you can afford it, folks. Now, bringing your poverty girl home. Now, these poverty girls, if you brought them home, you would have to rely on their foundation, their fundamentals. 95% of these girls will want to send their earnings home that they get from the West to their families in the Philippines. And let's get real, there will be no accounting for what happens to that money. So if you bring her home, even if she's working, money will be sent back to the Philippines. And would her family use that money logically and efficiently? There's no freaking chance of that, folks. I'm telling you. Are you willing to accept that kind of frustration? Your poverty babe, she will become westernized, and she'll end it with you as you get older. She will be around more handsome guys at work. Let me tell you this, folks. As long as she needs you and sees you as a superior person, in other words, she sees you as someone who she needs in order to progress her life, you're golden. As soon as she gets higher than you, it's adios for grandpa, especially if she has figured out that she is making enough to not need you anymore. But let's say, screw that, okay? Screw that. You decide to stay in the Philippines with your poverty babe-arino. You do not want to live in the West here, folks, and you don't want to bring her to the West. That's the safer move. Just stay in the Philippines and live a simple life. Wake up, coffee is ready, house is clean, lunch, dinner. Do you really want a girl who works all day and comes home tired? What about your girl's family needing money from you? Okay, let's talk about this. Okay, this is really case by case, but let's put it this way, folks. Let's say you have a real low budget, real minimal pension, okay? Then this could work to your advantage. You live with the family in their house in the province, and you contribute, say, 20,000 pesos a month, okay? Which is like like less than $400. Now, that would improve the lives of the household of your poverty girl out there in the province, and the family, they would love you. And you just don't tell them that you've got, say, $1,000 a month coming in, okay? You just don't tell them that. Look. I have a friend of a friend. He's a Filipino guy, okay? And he's an area manager for a big company in Manila. And he makes 120,000 pesos a month. But he tells his family that he makes 30,000 pesos a month because he knows as soon as his family knows about the 120,000, that money's gone. It's done for. It's no different than your wife's family, okay? Don't tell them exactly how much you're making. Lower it by about half. Remember, 20,000 is a lot for a family in the province. But this guy there, this 120 guy there in Manila, he's Filipino. That's his own family he lies to, okay? Like, it's just got to be done. But anyways, now you're living in your poverty girl's house, okay? And you're able to live a quiet life on $400 a month. And if you think it's rough to live in a hollow block house and have a bathroom that is 30 yards from the actual house, don't worry about it, folks, okay? You will adjust to whatever your environment is within a week or so. Anyway, you respect the family will respect you, and just everyone's happy. Now, let's give another example, okay? Let's say you got a bit more money than that guy, that $1,000 a month guy, okay? And you want your poverty baberino to live with you in your apartment in the city. Her family will probably require something from you, okay? Probably. I mean, she will feel the responsibility to help them. I mean, if she is living well in the city and her family is struggling in the province, she will feel some tension. And so you're going to feel that tension too. Well, I know two guys in this circumstance, and one guy found a girl whose family is poor, but makes enough not to require anything from the guy, okay? Because what the worst thing is having to send like an allowance for the rest of your life. It's really draining, right? But just some money every so often, it's no big deal, especially if you're really in love with the girl. Now, the other guy, he's in Manila, okay? He's married to a girl with a poor family. Now, what he did was he put his Filipina through nursing school and said, you know, whatever you earn, you can give all of it to your family. He told this to the family before they married for the sake of open communication. So they knew what to expect. And so far, it has worked out fine, as everyone knew what to expect and they waited patiently for her to graduate, send that money back to them, and everything was great. Now, on the other hand, okay, I know a nurse in Canada who was sending her paycheck home to her family. Up until she got married to a local Canadian guy. And her husband and her decided to buy a house, okay? But they were not able to put the deposit down on the house. They weren't able to save enough money because she was sending, you know, half her paycheck home to her family. So what she did was she stopped sending money home to her family in order to save up for the house. And the result was the family stopped talking to her. They thought she had abandoned them. You know, saying, you know, she turned her back on them. She explained to them what she was doing, but the family didn't see it. They just wanted their money every month. They thought she changed now that she's married, not understanding the full picture of what she was doing, like sacrificing now and getting a reward later on. So this was 20 years ago, folks, okay? And so that nurse and her husband bought a house in Vancouver, Canada. It was about $300,000, and it's worth about $2 million today. So obviously that sacrifice paid off. And of course, the husband was probably pissed because today the family is, you know, wanting their cake and eating it too. You know, they stopped talking to their daughter like tempo style, but now they want the reward of their newly wealthy daughter. Even they were not willing to understand her or make the sacrifice 20 years ago as she was trying to explain to them. So you see what I mean? There are so many different circumstances out there when you get involved with your girl. I mean, for the poverty girl that you choose and her family issues, it's all about how well you are at conflict resolution. So when it comes to young poverty babes in the Philippines or abroad, keep an open mind. You got a girl there with good values as a wife, as many guys want this, okay? Now, keep her away from all the Western crap of feminism. And remember that going old in age, a bit older, the female, a lot of guys like to do, you know, but she may be more mature, okay? Now, I've talked to 19-year-olds who are more mature than 40-year-olds, so I don't buy that. But a lot of guys insist the older she is, the more mature she is. But she also, remember this, will blame you for the mistakes she's made in her past, like her ex-boyfriend cheating on her. So now she doesn't trust men. You're a man. Now she doesn't trust you. Now you've got to make up for the mistake of her ex-boyfriend. So that goes on and on, okay? With each of her ex-boyfriends, it's going to create a barrier between her and the everlasting love she has for you. Remember, women are a tricky breed. You don't really know her until time passes. So don't be afraid to go younger, folks. There's fewer guys in her past. It's a more truer love, as she may even lose her virginity to you. I mean, who wants a girl who 10 other guys have spewed their jizz monkeys all over? Well, maybe that's what you want, but it's not my thing. Anyway, let's be a little respectful here, folks. Just remember that love does exist out there in this big world. Don't discriminate toward the poor, and keep an open mind to the fact that these poverty babes are rare gems and have to be found. I mean, you can find them online, but trust me, the harder they are to find, the more of a gem she will be. The best girl, the best poverty babes, they won't be on Tinder. They won't be on Pina Love like the city girls will be, making their rounds as a recycled girl. They won't be easy to access, the real gems. It will be difficult for you to get out to the faraway girls. And then on top of that, okay, you get out, you find her, and then she's got to like you. And then you must ask the parents for permission to take her away. But also keep an open mind and realize that, number one, okay, just keep an open mind here, folks. Staying single as a man in the Philippines is one of the most underrated beliefs, as everyone seems to be chasing women. Look at cool Jack over there, just living his own life, not interested in women, not interested in dating. Compare that to the guys on the dating sites going after these recycled city girls, one after the other. For example, I know a guy, he's a friend of mine, okay? He was in Manila for 1 month, okay? 1 month. And he joined a dating site prior to coming over here. I won't say which one, but he had one girl a day coming over to his house in Manila, okay? And he said it was easy. They literally met online, and on the very first conversation agreed to visit him at his house. And he didn't stick it in all of them, but I mean, the majority of them, he did. Think about that when you meet your wife online. How many guys before you has she met from this website? Hey, just enjoy your own company and be one with your soul. Girls are the devil's eye candy sometimes. But hey, we can fantasize. It's fun to fantasize. And remember also, folks, it's fun, meeting a girl for coffee, it adds some excitement to the day, and you never know where it's going to end up. You never know where it's going to lead to. But
all right, be quiet. Hi. Oh, you're very pretty.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, bye-bye.
don't be coy and promise the girl something just in order to get in her pants and then take off. Remember, if you are just looking for some action with a hot girl, just be honest with her. Maybe she's in university and she needs some help, your, quote, assistance. It's a horrible to think about, but that's the reality of the raw dog world that we all live in. And the girl herself, who's getting that help from you in order to get through university, she doesn't see it in a bad way. She sees it as a sacrifice in order to improve her family's life. She's sacrificing herself to improve the life of her family. Now, listen, folks, that's the end of that topic. Got a few more videos coming up. The next video will be all about how the hell I fit my entire life into one backpack, okay? And I'm only making this vid because people have asked me to make it. And I'll include a little tour of my Airbnb that I'm staying here in Cebu for 2 weeks, up until, my NMAX will be ready, and then I'll start on the tour. Anyway, adios to my great open-minded friends. I will see you on the very next Vitorino.